Ukraine obviously was invaded by Russia, and of course Russia's trying to pretend like new phone, who dis? No, we're not.
Exactly.
But anyways, I mean, it really is sad. And as you all know, my producer is very good friends with a lady from the Ukraine, excuse me. That is, by the way, you're not supposed to say the Ukraine. You're supposed to say Ukraine
There's not a "the" in front of it?
when you're referring to the country. Now, in my producer's neighborhood sitcom, he's always known that a person is a Ukrainian, but it just sounded more fun to say mafia and the Ukraine. So sitcom licensing, you're allowed to do that.
Sure.
So I said so. Anywho, it's very devastating. There's a lot of stories close to home with people that are, relatives getting out and escaping to Poland, but then some having to stay back and fight because they're of age. It really is. It is crazy, and I hope that somehow we can come together. I think the greatest thing is that NATO has now been more united than ever before, which is burning, who's orange pee hole right now. But it really is disgusting to see how many Republicans are also cheering Putin on with Tucker Carlson. I mean, go ahead. You just keep doing your thing.
It's insane.
But feel free to explain that someday, because it's just... those sound bites are going to be used over and over and over again, and you're not
at re-election time. It's like, what is happening to the Republican Party that they're so in with
I have to refill my wine glass.
I don't understand, unless there's a P tape for the entire Republican Party.
Well, no, it's money. I mean, it's very obviously now that it's money. I mean, look at Ron DeSantis in Florida, who has, $300 million still tied up of teachers' pensions invested in the Russian stock market, and refuses to pull it out because he thinks he's rooting Russia to come back on. So, I mean, there's that. It just gets so obvious. Like, look at the Republicans that went to Russia on July 4th. What? If Obama even said the word Russia on July 4th, people's heads would spin.
Right. Exactly. I don't understand
because it's so hypocritical.
The blatant.
I mean, it's just
double standard and the absolute not caring.
Well, first of all, the plan has worked very well. That in the past 4 years ago did a very fine job of getting people to stop watching the news or paying attention to facts and headlines and everything else. Like, people just got so sick of it. So there's a lot of people, even in my own circle, that are like, oh, well, we don't watch the news anymore. Wine Boy, can you comment on that?
Yeah.
I said that in private.
I was watching the news a lot, and I was angry a lot, and I haven't watched the news since we did our show, and I realized that I've been a lot happier because I've been focusing all my energy on other stuff. Because I was literally coming home and asking my wife, "Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that?" And just would yell into the ether.
See, I never have to come home and ask my wife, "Did you hear that?" or "Did you hear that?" because I pay attention to the news.
Oh, anyway. Are you saying that my wife doesn't pay attention to the news? They're trying to say.
Well, she obviously does. She obviously does.
What are you talking? You didn't even listen to what I had to say. You just wanted to call me out and then talk, didn't you?
Well, have you ever met before?
Apparently. Yeah, no, I have a much better life not paying attention to the news right now. So
well, that's good. At least you're getting your news from us now.
Oh, no, I don't listen to you guys.
Anyway, I think it has been this very weird strategy of getting people to not trust the news, not trust any news sources. And so there we just end up sort of not participating in the whole thing. And I think that's a big problem. But it is shocking the number of Republican representatives who are just in support of Putin and white supremacy, like just sort of blatantly participating in these events, like Marjorie Taylor. Yeah.
He's going
Go.
to a white nationalist rally event on Hitler's birthday.
Right. And
But the last time he did that, he blamed it on his staff and said there was a miscommunication on scheduling and everything else. Okay, well, what's it this time? Because it's pretty obvious.
well, and Marjorie Taylor Greene did the exact same thing.
Who she was schooled yesterday by Jamie Raskin in
Which
front
was
of everyone.
amazing.
It was
That
amazing.
was
If you
amazing.
haven't seen that, viewers, Google it. Jamie Raskin basically schooling Marjorie Taylor Greene, who she's just a heckler. She's so used to going to rallies and truck pull events that's all she knows how to do is just scream shit out. She doesn't even know what she's talking about.
Exactly.
I want to point out this comment. The real problem comes if we don't vote, and I agree with that.
Absolutely.
So I do think that not necessarily putting your head in the sand and not pay attention, still pay attention, but I was literally like in it to win it for a long time, and that's where things kind of went wrong for me. So I still kind of pay attention a little bit, but you definitely got to show up. You definitely got to vote. You definitely got to vote. Remember all these, like you just said a moment ago. Let's remember all of these sound bites. Let's remember what these motherfuckers are doing right now. So when November comes around, and it's going to be a huge thing, because these non big time election years for the senators and House, it means a lot. So we need to come out. We need to vote. So I agree. Good job, Sue Christian.
Absolutely. So pay attention and just remember when you show up at the polls. But that's the thing. We'll leave it on that. That's a good note. We've got to get out of politics because we don't want to
bring down the room.
Right.
So can we just say one more thing? I just want to say one more thing regarding politics
and randoms.
Well, here's why. Because I think it is very telling that Madison Cawthorn has been recently called out for his comments about being invited to an orgy by a bunch of senators and being invited to use cocaine, and the fact that he mentioned this.
Weinberg has a picture for you, as a meme. Weinberg has a picture because my producer is on it. But yes, I was. Now the other one, the orgy one. That one. The first rule of Orgy Club is you don't talk about Orgy Club.
But that's the thing that they're mad at. That's the thing that that's very telling to me.
Oh, it's like very telling.
He could do all of his white supremacist stuff. He could praise Hitler and want to go to the Eagle's Nest, and he can do all that stuff, and nobody has a damn problem with it whatsoever. But the moment he mentions that he was invited to an orgy and offered cocaine, then they step in and they're like, excuse me, you need to shut up now. You need to stop mentioning that. It's like, what is the true thing then?
To piggyback on your one more thing about Republicans, they're so dead set about banning books and you can't say gay and this and that. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, they're making it a law, trying to pass a law right now that men can marry a child bride.
What?
Exactly.
That they're trying to set the age of consent even lower?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we got to move on. We've literally hit rock bottom.
Well, that is we didn't. Bottom. We were just talking about the people who have hit rock bottom that no one wants to talk about because that's exactly what happens. Well, we don't want to talk about it.
To quote Sue Christian, change the fucking topic. We need to laugh.